researching on the case is when everything started falling into place, me finding witnesses, me finding out there were more people involved with the murder of Emmett Till, and that was my first major project that I said I wanted to produce as a film. So, again, I'm an unintentional filmmaker. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't know I was going to go down this road. I just so happened to have people in my life who gave me an opportunity to experience filmmaking, of course, via music video making.
Right.
But it wasn't until I really got in depth and research where I started saying to myself, okay, I really want to produce this as a film. Because it was at a time, it was in the early 90s, it was at a time where everybody was talking, especially African Americans. We were talking about how our stories were being told by other people of other ethnicities, and we weren't telling our own stories. So it was important for me. At that point, I was looking at myself sort of like a black Steven Spielberg.
Basically.
Because Steven Spielberg made sure that people never forgot the Holocaust and, of course, the atrocities done on Jewish people. I said, well, I want to do the same for African Americans because we're a part of this American fabric. It was the Black Resistance Movement, also known as the Civil Rights Movement, that became this, of course, this big movement that changed
the whole world
and giving us all liberation, of course. So, what better was it to do than to tell the story of Emmett Till, the story of a little boy who sparked the American Civil Rights Movement, because it was because of his murder that, of course, Rosa Parks decided not to get up from her seat on that bus in Montgomery, Alabama. It was because of Till's murder that a young 26-year-old Dr. Martin Luther King decided to take on the Montgomery bus boycott because he felt that the Emmett Till murder case was an intimidation factor to keep black people away from the polls. The film, The Untold Story of Emmett Lewis Till, was supposed to be a feature film first. I wrote a screenplay that was optioned off by producers at Showtime. And when they optioned the project from me, I kind of set on they set on the project. It wasn't being produced. Nobody knew what to do with it. And that's when I decided to gather the materials that I actually take to do research and develop the screenplay and to produce it as a documentary. And of course, a lot of this was done with the encouragement of the late Mamie Till Mobley, Emmett Till's mother, who I became fond of, and we became extremely close. She was the one that encouraged me to produce the documentary, to use it as a stepping stone towards the reopening of the case, which we were able to get reopened in 2004. The film took me 9 years to produce. So again, I have to come back and tell you, Travaris, vocation means to me passion, because it was only passion, perseverance, and persistence that brought me through this whole journey. And I know that it can only be spiritual, because I had never had so much passion to tell the story of anyone in my life in the manner that I had with Emmett Till. It was sort of like his spirit was speaking to me, and he was working through me. So I know it only had to be spiritual, a spiritual awakening, or some type of, godliness that has put me in this position to do what I do. And I devoted my life to it. I devoted my life to speaking for those who could no longer speak for themselves. And I would have to say it was a promise that I gave the late Mamie Till Mobley before she passed away in 2003, that I was going to do. It was two promises that she made me promise her that I would do. One was to get her son's case reopened, which we were able to do. The second was to also tell the stories of those who are unknown, those who never received the amount of attention her son's case received. Because there are a lot of civil rights murder cases and those who lost their lives throughout the civil rights struggle. Those stories also need to be told.